Based on a true story, an undocumented mother works for a man in a secluded town whose tradition involves taking outsiders for dinner. Charity worker Mary drives up country roads with Nina and her daughter Bella. Mary's gotten Nina a job as a maid, which doesn't pay much, but at least she and her daughter will have a place to live in. Mary shares that her employer is eccentric, but many undocumented women have worked for him and nobody has complained. As Mary ponders about the previous women they hired, Nina questions why the man has employed so many. Mary just explains that the ladies saved up money and moved on with their lives. She even encourages Nina to do the same. Just then, Nina cuffs, but assures Mary that it's nothing serious. This wakes her daughter up, so Bella asks to go to the bathroom. With this, they stop by the roadside where Nina helps her daughter. As they return to the car, a wounded man suddenly rushes to them, speaking in a different language that Nina doesn't understand. Mary urges her companions to escape, so Nina retreats into the car with her daughter. As the car peels off, more people run from the woods. Nina wonders if they should help, but Mary warns her that in America, it's best not to get involved with hitchhikers. Soon, they arrive at the house of Nina's employer, Luther. However, Luther comments that he doesn't normally take in women with children, so Mary asks for an exception since there's no one else for the job. Nina assures him that Bella will behave, so Luther moves on, asking if she has any family to go back to. The new maid admits that she has no other family in Belarus, while her charity worker adds that Nina will be imprisoned if she returns to her country. Nina then assures him that she's a great cook and a hard worker, so Luther accepts his new house worker. After Mary leaves, Luther gives Nina a tour of the house, sharing that he's the local butcher in the town. He points at a deer head and explains that culling deer preserves ecological balance, calling it an act of conservation and kindness. They revere the deer as a symbol of rebirth. He then leads his companions to his bedroom where Nina sees an old painting of a man. Luther tells her that this is his ancestor, part of the original pilgrims that landed here. To commemorate the founding of the town, they celebrate the harvest with a feast. Since it'll be happening soon, Luther invites Nina to attend. That evening, as they prepare for bed, Nina checks for cell service but finds none. Still, she appreciates having a warm bed with her daughter. The next morning, she wakes up and finds Bella already having pancakes with Luther. The man reminds her that cooking is her task, so Nina apologizes for sleeping in before joining them. She finds the meal delicious, so Luther says that he added local roots and herbs. As they enjoy the meal, a thud from downstairs interrupts them. The man claims it's raccoons, so he warns his companions not to go downstairs before heading into the locked basement. Later, they walk outside where Luther mentions that he's never married. However, he's glad to have Nina and Bella for company, adding that God is always with them. He then points to the shed where he dries meat, though he forbids Nina from going inside. Her daughter then finds a silver brooch with a deer symbol on it, though Luther claims it's not his. Later in the basement, Luther plays music while cutting meat as Nina cleans the house upstairs. When she begins preparing dinner, her employer slaps meat on the cutting board, claiming it's deer. In the evening, Luther gives Nina a concoction for her cough, saying it's a mix of local herbs and roots. However, she starts to feel lightheaded after drinking, so he suggests she rest for the night. Nina deliriously walks up the stairs and collapses on the bed. Despite this, she wakes up feeling well the next day. In the afternoon, Nina and Bella play hide and seek. The woman finds her daughter in the closet and pretends to be a monster. Later, she delivers tea to Luther but cuffs along the way. This prompts her employer to pour tea for her as well. She declines, saying it made her feel dizzy last time, but he assures her that it's meant to help with sleep and cure her cough. That night, Nina sleeps deliriously once more. The next day, while Luther goes to town, Nina chops wood outside when a man holding a tire wrench runs towards them. Scared, the mother immediately goes inside the house with Bella, yelling at the man to leave them alone. Suddenly, the man stops calling out, leaving them in silence. After some time, Nina watches Luther exit the shed, holding a bag of groceries. He returns to the house and announces that he has a surprise for Bella, but the mother notes that her daughter's napping. Instead, she asks about the man who rushed to them. Instead of answering, Luther invites her into the woods where he teaches his housekeeper how to shoot deer. She hesitates in ending a life until a flock of crows scare the deer away. Disappointed, Luther takes the gun and scolds her for wasting what he bestowed upon them. He then orders her to use this gun the next time an intruder arrives in his house. Later that day, Luther presents Bella with a dollhouse. Nina embraces him in gratitude, but sees the man from before approaching them. Luther quickly rushes off while the man introduces himself as Andres to Nina. He apologizes for scaring her earlier, but defends that his car broke down so he needs to make a phone call. Hearing this, Nina moves to help him, but Luther hits Andres and holds him at gunpoint. The homeowner interrogates him, so the man says he's from Colombia and is traveling alone. After a few tense moments, Luther apologizes, saying he's wary of strangers because of how secluded the place is. They invite Andres inside, and while Nina treats his wound, Luther offers them tea. He apologizes for the misunderstanding and offers to let him stay for the night and help fix his car tomorrow. Andres insists he leave tonight, so he asks for a phone call instead. However, Luther claims he has no phones in the house and warns that it's dangerous to go out at night, so the guest takes his offer. With that, Luther takes Bella to bed to read her a bedtime story, leaving Nina and Andres alone. While they wash the dishes, Andres sees a wine bottle and invites Nina to drink with him. He asks what her relationship is with Luther, and she clarifies that he hired her despite not having any papers. Andres empathizes since his travel visa expired, but Nina cuts him off as she sees someone wearing a deer skull by the door. When Andres checks, however, he sees nothing. Nina wonders if she just hallucinated, so she excuses herself for the night. In her bedroom, she looks outside and sees the man with a deer skull holding an axe, but he suddenly disappears. She convinces herself that she's just drunk, so Nina goes to sleep. The next morning, Nina wakes up alone in bed, and when she heads downstairs, Andres is the only one there. The two head outside and finally see Bella with Luther near the fences. The worried mother hugs Bella, but as she does, she sees three figures with deer skulls that quickly vanish. As they return to the house, Luther informs them that neighbors will be visiting for dinner. Nina asks how he contacted them without a phone, so he answers that he drove out this morning and even got the mechanic to find and fix Andres's car. Andres asks how he got his car keys, so Luther points out that he left them on the table. The old man then asks how much they drank last night, seeing that Nina's hallucinating and he forgot about his keys. With them caught, he warns them not to drink his wine without permission. Despite this, he assures them that he is grateful to have them here. He even takes Nina upstairs to show her a dress he got for her. While he's fetching it from the closet, Nina spots an old book called Order of the Children of the Sun. Luther suddenly snaps at her, scolding her for touching his things without permission. His tone then shifts as he hands her the dress, assuring that she'll look delicious in it. He urges her to put it on since their guests will arrive soon. With that, Nina prepares for dinner. That night, Luther introduces her to his guests, starting with Brandon, who mistakes her for being affected by another country's war. Luther then takes her to Samuel and Trish, then to Anna and Justin, who comment on her beauty. Anna then sees Bella and calls her Little Deliciousness, only for Luther to remind her of the rules. Meanwhile, Justin wonders about Nina's stance in the war, so she shares that she protested against it, but this led her to being driven out of her country. Justin shrugs this off, saying war is bound to happen since it's normal for godless creatures to do petty fights for land. This leaves Nina uncomfortable, so Luther asks Justin to drop the topic. Nina then pulls Andres upstairs and they chuckle to themselves, commenting at the guests' insensitive opinions about their countries. Andres then invites Nina to go with him once his car is fixed so she can live somewhere less strange. She declines since she'll end up unemployed again if she leaves, even defending that Luther was kind enough to hire her. Andres apologizes for the sudden offer, but reassures her that he cares for her. Soon, the two join the guests as Luther presents a delicacy of cured meat, offering a toast for a bountiful harvest. Andres asks what the harvest is, and Nina answers that it's like Thanksgiving. As the guests dine, Luther takes Andres to the barn to check on the car. Nina asks to come with, but Luther asks her to attend to the guests instead. Outside, Luther guides Andres to the barn, but the man reels in horror at what he sees before his companion knocks him out. After some time, Nina grows worried and excuses herself even when the guests try to block her. She searches for Andres outside, but sees the deer skull figure instead. Luther then joins her, claiming that Andres' car was fixed, so he left. The man even suggests that Andres was dealing with questionable business, so it was best that he left. He then offers her tea and points out that her cuff is gone. He He insists that he wants her healthy, promising that she'll feel great in a few days. She starts to feel dizzy, then her mind explodes into visions of a barn room with a deer skull figure approaching her, making her flee. Suddenly, she finds herself laying on the table, surrounded by a cloaked people reciting prayers. Nina then jolts awake in her room. Assured that it was only a nightmare, she falls back to sleep. The next morning, Nina cleans the house when she finds a red spot on the floor that looks like blood. Her gaze briefly falls on the locked basement door, but she shrugs off her suspicions and continues cleaning. Later, Bella points out that the brooch she found outside matches the one on her dinner dress. Thinking nothing of it, Nina goes to Luther's room to return the dress. As she does, she sees a chest in the closet, so she opens it and finds pictures of early pilgrims and their rituals. At the bottom of it is Luther's book, but before she can open it, she hears footsteps, forcing her to put everything back. Downstairs, however, she hears whimpering from the basement door. She recognizes the voice as Andres, but before she can investigate, Luther comes out, scolding her for approaching the basement. With her suspicions piqued, Nina heads downstairs to check the basement later that night, but finds Luther waiting for her. She excuses that she was only getting a glass of water before heading back upstairs. Not giving up, Nina attempts to go to the basement again after Luther leaves the next day. She hears a muffled voice calling her name from the door, confirming that it's Andres downstairs. With the door locked, she grabs an axe and makes Bella hide. She then breaks the door down and finds Andres tied to a chair with a bag over his head. When she pulls the bag off, she's horrified that Andres is missing his eyes. This convinces her that they're in danger, so Nina grabs Bella and drags Andres outside. Before they can get far, however, someone knocks her out. Later, Bella wakes her mother, who finds herself tied up in their room. Luther arrives with food and a bucket, then takes her daughter away despite Nina's desperate pleas. After hours of waiting, Luther returns, so Nina begs for her daughter and to be freed. Luther promises to release her when the time comes, but he makes her drink the tea first. Nina hesitates, so he threatens to give it to Bella if she doesn't drink. With no choice, she drinks the tea and falls asleep. Once night arrives, Luther opens the door, clad in bloodied furs and an antler crown. He drags Nina to a bathroom and orders her to unclothe. Nina does so reluctantly and he makes her step into a bathtub. She begs once more for Bella, so Luther complains that this is why they don't take women with children. He then assures her that they'll raise Bella like their own. This angers Nina, but Luther pushes her into the bathwater while exclaiming a prayer. She struggles, but Luther only releases her once he's done. He then drags the sobbing woman back to her room, telling her he'll come back in the morning. The next morning, Luther arrives with a large breakfast and tries to feed his captive. Switching tactics, Nina instead begs to join his group, promising to obey them. He declines, explaining that they do this because people keep invading their country. She reasons that she and Bella can just leave, but he advises her to follow his orders to make things easy for her and her daughter. Unable to fight back, Nina disdainfully eats and drinks the tea, which makes her pass out. That evening, Luther prepares the meat and sets the table for Bella and his neighbors, which apparently includes Mary. The neighbors greet Nina as she wakes up, bound and gagged on a chair. Luther then leads a prayer about how their ancestors founded this place to avoid the heathens of the land. They also practice the harvest to cull those who intrude on their land and prevent overgrazing. The prayer ends and Luther reveals Andres's cooked head. Nina screams through her gag, and when Anna removes it, she throws up, ruining the dinner. The guests complain, saying she should be purified again. With this, Mary announces that they'll continue the ceremony tomorrow instead so Luther can clean up. Luther then takes Nina and Bella to the basement. He binds Nina and scolds her for ruining the evening before leaving to attend to his guests. After he leaves, Bella removes her gag and gets scissors to cut the binds. Driven to fight for their survival, Nina tapes a knife to her legs while her daughter finds a gun. Outside, the guests leave and Mary scolds Luther for bringing Nina, though he blames her for hiring a woman with a child. She asks what to do with Bella, so Luther assures her that he'll raise her since they don't harm the innocent. Meanwhile, Justin returns inside to get his wife's purse only to be shot by Nina. The sound alerts Mary and Luther from the barn. Outside, Nina tries to open Luther's car door but fails, so they head to the barn. barn. Mary ambushes them, but Nina stabs and kills her. She and Bella run inside the barn and lock the door. However, Nina recoils upon seeing the butchered meat inside. Shielding her daughter from the horrors, Nina rummages for Luther's car keys, only for the man to break through the door. He tries to convince her that this is for the greater good, warning her that if she tells the cops, they'll find that she's undocumented and take Bella away. However, Nina points out that since she's undocumented, the cops won't find her, so she shoots. Luther, however, survives and the gun runs out of bullets. With that, the man takes Nina and locks her into a wooden box while Bella runs off. After securing Nina, he chases after Bella. Inside the box, Nina hyperventilates, but manages to force the box open. Meanwhile, Luther looks for the daughter until he finds her in the closet. Nina suddenly grabs him from behind and the two grapple, with the woman getting stabbed by Luther's broken antler crown. He then kicks her down and strangles her, yelling that he won't spare her daughter anymore. Desperate to save Bella, the mother pulls the broken antler stuck on her leg and fatally stabs him. The maddened mother continues attacking in sheer fury. When she finally calms down, she looks up and finds her daughter, who now thinks she's a monster. Despite the cruelty she endured, Nina drives off with her daughter in the morning, escaping the fate that many migrants have endured in the past.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.